You know how some nursery rhymes just get stuck in your head, like forever? Ever wonder why? Well, we're about to find out. We're going to deconstruct a classic Hindi children's rhyme about a parrot, breaking it down line by line to really see the simple genius behind how it works.
It all kicks off with this one sound. Mithu, mithu. This is the absolute heart of the rhyme. It's the hook that grabs you right away. And it's not just a name, it's the parrot's signature call, the little refrain that ties the whole song together and makes it so memorable for a kid.
So, how does the rhyme actually begin? Well, like any good story, it starts by making sure we know exactly who our main character is. No confusion.
And right off the bat, there it is. The rhyme just comes out and says it in the first person. I am a parrot, I am a parrot. By repeating it, it immediately tells us who's talking and kind of invites you to see the world from the parrot's point of view. It's so direct, super effective, and honestly, really engaging.
And of course, the key word here is tota, which is just the Hindi word for parrot. This is the bedrock, the foundational piece of vocabulary for the whole rhyme, and by saying it over and over, the song makes sure that word is locked into a child's mind.
Okay, so once we know who is speaking, the rhyme then does something really cool. It starts painting a super vivid picture of what this parrot looks like using just a couple of simple words.
And what's really amazing here is just how efficient it is. Look at this. With just 2 lines, you get a complete visual. On one hand, a green body. On the other, a red beak. That high contrast color combo is so striking and incredibly easy for a young mind to picture. It's like the perfect little mental snapshot.
So now that we have a clear picture of the parrot itself, let's see how the rhyme starts to build out from there, moving from its appearance to what it does and the world it lives in.
This line, I fly in the blue sky, it's so simple, but wow, is it powerful. It's not just describing an action, it's setting up the parrot's entire world. That phrase, Neel Gagan, or blue sky, it just makes you think of freedom, of nature, and the parrot's natural place in it all. And what does our little parrot eat? Well, the rhyme gives us this really neat 3-part answer right here. Fruits, vegetables, and grains. I mean, it's basically a mini biology lesson, right? It breaks down the parrot's diet in a way that's super easy to get, covering all the food groups for our feathered friend.
Oh, I absolutely love this line. Tumak tumak kar chalta hoon. This isn't just I walk. It's more like I walk with a swagger, a little waddle, almost like a dance. This one phrase breathes so much personality and character into the parrot, making it less of a generic animal and more of a charming, relatable little guy.
But the rhyme doesn't just stop at what the parrot looks like or what it does. In this really brilliant twist, it takes the parrot to a whole other level, turning it into something much more than just a bird. And this is where the rhyme's cleverness just really shines. The parrot says, I am also an artist. Now, the word for artist, kalakar, is actually pretty sophisticated for a nursery rhyme, and it brilliantly frames the parrot's special skill not just as some trick, but as a real form of creativity. So that raises the question, right? What is this special art form that our parrot has supposedly mastered?
And here it is, the big reveal. Its art is imitation. I imitate everyone. This perfectly captures the most famous thing about parrots, mimicry, and it completely justifies calling it an artist. It's just a wonderful payoff that connects a pretty complex idea with a fact everyone knows about the animal.
So we've looked at what the rhyme says, but to really get a handle on its genius, we need to look at how it says it. What's the secret recipe that makes its structure so incredibly effective?
It all comes down to this repeating formula, which you can see laid out perfectly in this table. Each verse brings in one new idea: color, diet, a special skill, and then boom, and immediately reinforces it with that catchy, unifying refrain, Mithu mithu menkarta. This structure is just brilliant. It feeds you new info in these perfect little bites and then locks it in with that familiar, fun sound.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, the rhyme really shows us that simple language can create these super powerful images, that repetition is the absolute key to memory, and that telling a story in the first person makes any character instantly relatable. It proves that behind the simplest little song, you can find a really complex and powerful tool for teaching.
And you know, that just leaves us with a final thought. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many of our first, most important lessons about the world, about colors, about nature, about who we are, weren't learned in a classroom at all, but were actually just wrapped up perfectly in a simple, unforgettable song.